Hey y'all, I am back with a late video, how to get away with murder. I do have to apologize. My husband is home and I'm using our laptop to record since we still have not been able to get our tablet to charge. And pretty much when I have to convert the file over, it messes up the lip sync. So I noticed it because my last two videos, because I've uploaded two videos using this our laptop, and this lip sync was off. And the only thing I can think of is it does it when I convert it over. But y'all, this is How to Get Away with Murder, season 1, episode 1. This is the pilot, but we know this is gonna be a reoccurring show. Pretty much, I do want to say that I enjoyed the show. I really did. I really like the show. Viola Davis looks great to me. She looks really nice. So let's just get into it. Pretty much the background of the show. Viola Davis is Professor Keating, and she is a law professor, but she also practices law. I don't know the school. They didn't say the school. And pretty much her class is one of the hardest classes, to get, that there is. And pretty much we see a young black guy. His name is West. Now, y'all, I was looking at him like, this boy played on something. And I couldn't remember everybody's name, so I did a character search on Google, and there it was, Wes, the law student. He played on Harry Potter, and y'all, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I have every movie, but yeah, he played on Harry Potter. He wasn't like one of the main characters, but he was one of the students at Hogwarts. So yeah, that's what it was. Cause I just like, dang, I know him from somewhere, but it was Harry Potter. But this is West. Pretty much, early on you think West ain't gonna make it, but he make it. Now the 4 main students is going to be West, Michaela. Michaela is a young black girl. Connor, who is white, and Laurel, who is white. So I kind of consider them like Olivia Pope has her gladiators. Well, Professor Keating to me so far has these 4. Okay, now, sorry, I have my phone going on. Now, pretty much, she comes in and she tells them this is the first day of class. She lets them know that this is not just a typical law class. She's pretty much going to tell them how, teach them. She's not just going to teach them the law. She's going to teach them how to win cases. She lets them know that she always picks 4 students to come because she has her own law firm. Y'all, this bump is up here because of some black soap I'm using, so I'm going to stop using it. But she always picks 4 students to come and work at her law firm. This is what's on my nails. Now, the case, she tells them a synopsis of a case, but come to find out, it's a case that she's working on. Pretty much you have a secretary, assistant or something. She was having an affair with her boss, typical, the typical story, young girl, old man. But his wife found out, and he supposedly broke up with her. When he broke up with her, she supposedly, switched his meds, like pressure pills or something, for some aspirin. So now Professor Keating, Viola Davis' character, has taken the case. Okay. Now they're all trying, she tells all the students, to come up with a defense. Okay. Michaela, black girl Michaela, she comes to court late the next day, and come to find out the reason that she's late is because the main witness, the main secretary, she states that she saw a pill on the desk, and she saw the accused lady switched the pills out. Well, Michaela finds out that the lady is colorblind, and Professor Keaton, kind of trips her up in court by the prosecutor. She's like, "Oh, you mean it was yellow like his shirt?" And the lady's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "He don't have no yellow shirt. Are you colorblind?" And the lady's like, "Yeah, I am." So that discredits the witness. So Professor Keaton is like, y'all need to get on y'all grind like Michaela, and but she gonna be the number one student. Okay. So next, everybody's trying to come up with a defense. So Wes, he's in his apartment, kind of minding his business, and he's thinking, he's like brainstorming, and he comes up with something. So he tries to go to tell Professor Keaton. He goes to her house, and the door is not, it's unlocked. So of course he's thinking. So he go in and he's like, "Professor Keaton, y'all, Professor getting her some old dome, honey. She sitting on the tape on the desk and got her skirt hiked up around her, and she kicking, and the man down there eating her cat. I said, "Wow, okay, this how we doing it." So Wes is like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, and she like, "What you want?" And he's like, well, he tells her his theory, and she's like, no. She pretty much discredits, what he's saying. Okay. So then next we see Connor. Okay, now the first day of class, that was the door because of the air conditioner. The first day of class, I thought Connor was flirting with Michaela, but Connor is at a gay bar. And he's kind of flirting with a guy in the bar. And I'm thinking, Connor, you missed it, because you just flirting with this man to get information or whatever. Y'all come to find out Connor gay. Because the dude tells Connor the information he wants. And after the guy tells him the information, we in scene, in cut, we go to Connor and old buddy sleeping together. So I was like, okay, Connor. Hell, I thought, like I said, I thought Connor was flirting with Michaela. Okay. Next we see Professor Keaton tells him that she's gonna be somewhere. Because the information that Connor gets pretty much points the thing that the business partner could have did it instead of the girl that's accused, the assistant. Okay, so they all go to this, this party at their university, at the law school, and they all having a little champagne, because they're law students, all of them, grown or whatever. And it's this guy, he's nice looking white guy, and he's talking about Professor Keaton, and this is when Wes walks up. So Wes doesn't know what's going on, and so Wes was like, oh, okay, and who's your wife? And they were like, Professor Keaton, this is her husband. And he's like, because remember, he walked in on Professor, now her husband is white, so he knows this ain't her husband, because he know that the other man was not her husband, because he walked in on her getting some old dome from old chocolate, piece of man. So she's like, she's looking at him like, don't say nothing. He looking at her like, oh hell. So he goes to the bathroom. She follows him. Y'all, she give him this story talking about, me and my husband are trying to have a baby and blah blah blah. Y'all, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The story, like the reason I don't believe it is because later on she says that the man is her boyfriend. So it's not like, oh, this is just a one-time thing. So we're gonna get into that. Okay. So the next day at court, they are at court, and they leave court, and Bonnie and Laurel has to go to the bathroom. When she goes to the bathroom, she sees the victims, their client, the one who's accused of killing or trying to kill the man. She's in the bathroom, and the victim's wife. Well, yeah, I was confused about that because I guess she's on trial for attempted murder because the man is still alive. He's just in a wheelchair, bedridden, blown up. So pretty much Laurel goes to the bathroom and she goes in the stall, but she sees the wife and the mistress kind of like the wife touches the mistress back and the mistress kind of smiles, like smirks, and she automatically says, okay, they're in on this together because if this woman just tried to kill your husband, he won't be smirking at her. So she goes to Professor Keaton's house / office, and she tries to tell her 2 assistants. Now she has 2 assistants. One is Bonnie and one is Jake. Now Jake is a very nice looking white guy, and she's trying to tell him like, well, I think the wife and the mistress are in on it together. And Jake is pretty much like, oh, he kind of like just really makes her feel stupid. But she figures out, because he gets so defensive, she's like, you know what, y'all already knew this. Y'all knew that they were in on it together. Y'all can't bring that up because that's incriminating y'all client. So he's pretty much like, yeah, you green to it, you know, every client ain't gonna be innocent, blah blah blah. So she leaves, and Bonnie is like, you need to stop sleeping with the law students. Okay, so Professor Keaton, Viola Davis, her, you know, they're all at her house, and Bonnie, the assistant, Professor Keaton's husband, comes in, and she leap up off the sofa, and she, hey, such and such, and she kissed him on his cheek. And I think he goes to Yale or Harvard for my interview, and she's like, well, how was it? And he's like, oh, well, you know, I don't know if I got the job yet. And she zen, y'all. I'm like, automatically, to me, that kind of struck me as odd. Then Professor Keaton comes in, and of course that's her husband, so she goes over and she kisses him on the cheek. Y'all, Bunny side-eyed her so hard. If Bunny eyes were knives, she would have cut her head off. I was like, whoa, they sleep together, Bunny and the husband, because you ain't gonna side-eye a woman that hard for kissing and loving on her own man, you know. Because I understand if she knows that, because of course that's an assistant, so she know that Professor Keaton cheating too, but that wouldn't be it. So pretty much Jake's job is to find any evidence that would incriminate their client so they can discredit it. So on the stand, they find the smoking gun, which is a video of the defendant going in and buying the aspirin. So Professor Keaton snapping on Jake, talking about who was it this time, which who was you sleeping with that helped you not do your job this time. So she's pretty much like, don't worry about it, I got it. So they call Detective such and such to the stand. And everybody was like, well, who is Detective such and such? Y'all, Detective such and such is the chocolate piece of meat that was giving Professor Keaton some dome. Yeah. And because the timeline of when the smoking gun tape was in the evidence, the timeline, you know, it's a lot of time, like a 2-hour gap from when they got it to when they entered the evidence, and they could have doctored it. So she pretty much is like, well, were you there? And Wes is looking like, oh, yeah, because remember, he walked in on them, so he knows that this time gap, he knows that Detective Man was with Professor Keaton. So he's looking like, oh my God. So she's like, were you there that night? Because this is a big gap. And he was like, no, I wasn't. I was with a friend. She was like, oh, a friend? You mean to tell me you weren't with your wife? You know, isn't she going through health problems? Didn't she just get diagnosed with cancer? I said, this half of bad. You know that man was at your office eating your cat, but you is using this man cancer-ridden wives. I was like, oh my God. So he's like, I was at a friend's, and she's like, well, have you ever heard personally of them doctoring tapes? And of course he has to say yes because she got him what she want him. So he says yes. They pretty much win the case because they have discredited the witness. They have shifted the blame, put doubt on the business partner like he could have did it. And then they have discredited the evidence, so they win the case. Okay. Now the whole episode, there is a student that's missing, and they keep showing this student. And also through the whole episode, the 4 main students, they're at Professor Keaton's house, and they have rolled up a body in the rug. So honestly, y'all, I'm thinking that this is the girl that's been missing. So they say that for the last scene. So before the last scene, Professor Keaton picks her 4. She picks Michaela, Connor, Laurel, and then she picks another guy. I don't know his name. He's extra to me. He always doing stuff to try to be witty, funny, but he comes off as trying too hard. But then she said, well, because we have extra caseload, I'm also going to pick a 5th. And the 5th is Wes. So Wes pretty much pulls her to the side, and he's like, look, don't be trying to give me this position because I know you cheating on your husband and blah, blah, whoop, whoop. But she like, well, if you don't want it, but she pretty much tells him that that's not why she's giving it to him. Now, y'all, I forgot to say this, when they was in that bathroom, Professor Keaton was giving me "I want you" tease to Wes because she was rubbing on his chest. I'm like, oh. So in the end, they finally they unroll the body, and they finally show who it is that they done covered up their body. It's Professor Keaton's husband. Y'all, my mouth dropped. Because they found the girl in a water cooler or something, but I was like, but then I see them putting the body out in the woods. I said, well, maybe they thought about it and it was like, no, we want her family to have closure or something, so they decided we're gonna put it somewhere where somebody will find her. No. So pretty much, that's how it shows Professor Keaton's husband is dead. I don't think they're gonna show us no time soon how it happened. I don't want them to, because y'all, this is good. This show is very messy. It's very messy. So to me, Shonda, the writers, Eric, they done did it again. This is another hit. This is an instant hit. So yeah, like I said, yeah, it's good. I mean, I really don't have nothing else to say about it. It is very good. Like I said, I do apologize if when I convert this, the lip sync is off. I don't know how to fix it. But I do thank y'all for watching.